everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to finally do my book talk for Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Since it is Halloween and I'm still keeping in the spirit of wanting to dress up for all my videos, today I am Aylin's Flame. Yes, I know, very abstract, so original. I honestly wanted to still do really cool makeup, but I wanted something that I could possibly wear outside. Obviously, this lipstick is wild, but yeah, I'll just take that off or something. But yeah, so I decided to be Aylin's Flame. I wanted to be Aylin, but I don't have blue eyes, so yeah, let's kind of just jump into this. I have so many thoughts, so many feelings. I've tabbed this book probably more than any other book I've ever tabbed, so yeah. Alright, so for this first part is going to be non-spoiler. The next part will be spoiler-filled. I will warn you before we get into that. So first and foremost, I did give this book 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I do think that the beginning was very slow. There's a lot of traveling that happens in this book, which makes it feel a lot slower too. There are a lot of things that happen though. This book has a ton of major plot twists, major plot points that really are going to go into play in Kingdom of Ash and even in Tower of Dawn. I did find it really slow though. I feel like they made the print smaller in this book or something like that because I was reading a lot slower too. I kind of talk about it more in my reading vlog of when I was reading it. But still a fantastic book. There's so much character growth in this and just really actually delving into our characters. It's not even character growth, it's more of just learning more about them and learning about our characters and our loves and like how they are coming to be themselves. And I just found such great love for them. I honestly noticed other characters a lot more in this reread than I did in the first round. I love a lead now. I mean, I always kind of liked her, but I love her now. I think that she is just such a badass. She really doesn't take anyone's shit at all. She is just so sure of herself, so strong, so wise, and I just love her character in this book. I actually do really like Lorcan as well, but I'll go into that a little bit more later. I also loved Lissandra in this. I have really just found a new appreciation for Lissandra in this entire series, but especially in this book, you really get to see just how loyal and intelligent she is. Her loyalty to Aylin runs deep. Like when everyone else is turning against her or thinks she's doing things wrong, Lissandra's there, and you really can tell that because she's so loyal to her, Aylin puts a lot of trust into Lissandra. Like she tells her the plans that she's not telling anyone else, and I just really like their friendship in this. I think that Aylin always needed someone like her and Lissandra needed someone like Aylin and all the friends that she makes. So she's super intelligent and amazing. Who else did I really love? Obviously Manon. Manon's become probably one of my all-time favorite characters in general. I think she's fantastic and she's just so hard-headed and beautiful and strong, and she's perfect. I really love Manon. I don't know how else to explain it, but she has such a loyalty to her 13. She loves Abraxos. She knows what she wants to fight for, and she's always willing to do whatever it takes. And she's also just so sassy and so sure of herself, and I love seeing like her story arc kind of intertwine with Dorian's, because in the first read I hated that. I was like, excuse you, Dorian's always gonna be Selena's. I don't understand why you're doing this. But in this one, I realized that since I've loved Dorian so much in the series, and now Manon's probably one of my favorite girl characters in the series, if not my favorite, I kind of like it, so yeah. I kind of would hope that that would happen. And there's one last thing. Just sort of on the negative side of this, one thing that I did notice in this read is that Sarah J. Maas tends to sort of forget that she had these realizations in the previous book. And by that I mean there are realizations that happen in the previous novels, just either like a character realizing something about themselves, or it's mostly that. It's a character realizes something about themselves in the previous book, and it's almost like she forgets and then makes them realize it again in this book, and it's really frustrating to me because I'm like, we already went through this. And maybe I'm just thinking that because this is a reread, so maybe I just have those ideas in my head already because like subconsciously I know it happens, but I don't think so. I think it's really just that's something that frustrates me. Also, Adian's character really gave me a lot of frustration in this book. I think that for all his talk of loyalty and being a part of Aylin's crew and everything like that, he just doesn't have any faith in her and he doesn't trust her, and it was very annoying to see that happen because he's supposed to. But yeah, I almost felt like Adian was the new Kale in this book. Not like in the way that I hated Kale, in the way that like the questioning of Aylin's motives and always being there to kind of like pull her back. It just felt a lot like how Kale felt around Selena. So yeah, that's kind of it for like my mostly non-spoilery thoughts. I obviously can't really give you a summary if you haven't read any of the other previous books. Just know that a lot has gone down. So many characters that were never in the first book, so I can't even explain. So I'm sorry if you were hoping for that and you stuck around through all that blabber and you're still really confused, because I would be too. So yeah, let's kind of just jump into the spoiler section. I have so many thoughts. So the first thing that I really wanted to talk about was when Aylin's first meeting with Darrow. This whole situation is so annoying to me, and it's still something that frustrates me right now. Just knowing how little faith Darrow had in her, like, I think that he really became corrupt after the king died. I can't remember what the king's name is. King Orlan. After Orlan died, I think that Darrow just really became corrupt, that his grief threw him over the edge, and that he now doesn't trust anyone, and he doesn't trust anyone to do a job that he thinks he can do right. But he can't. Like, this is Aylin's rightful crown. Like, she has been through so much, and he has the nerve to just sit there and be like, oh, you were just enjoying Rifthold, you were whoring yourself out to Adderland. Like, not really whoring yourself out, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just really rude about it, and he just doesn't expect anything from her, and he's just saying that, oh, what do you think you're gonna do? Just threaten people into becoming like your subservient people? And I just hate that, because that's not Aylin's goal. And especially, it just hurts so much to know what Aylin had been thinking the entire book. Like, her motives were so pure. All she wanted, everything that she did, every plan she made was for Terrasen. Like, she never even considered herself in it, which is where like my heart really just shatters for her. And what Darrow said to her, he was just so cruel, and he had no faith in her, and he really just thought he had a right to crown himself king and to kick her off. It was just, he didn't even give her a chance. And that's kind of the part that really angered me. Like, he just assumed all of this about her character, and when she walked in to kind of just sell herself to him, he didn't let her, like, he didn't let any of what she was saying penetrate his thoughts of her. He judged her court. He looked at Adian by saying, you were Adderland's whore. Even when he at the same time was like, well, Adian's the only one that was doing anything for Terrasen, and then he goes to like stab him in the back. He looks at Lissandra and notices the mark on her wrist and just assumes that she's just this awful low-life prostitute, which is the worst thing. There's so much pain in that whole area, and he's so mean. And these are all like a bunch of misfits. Like, let's be honest, they're all super powerful and very strong, but they're misfits through and through. But Lissandra, she was a prostitute, and obviously not willingly. That's kind of the part that really frustrates me, is that in general there is this whole stigma in fantasy books in general, not even just this, against prostitutes, when I don't think the prostitutes are ever doing it willingly, and I hate that. It even hurts when Lissandra, there's a point where she's talking to Adian at the very end, and she's like, I know my past is unappealing, and he's like, I'm gonna stop you right there, because like, he knows, like, he knows never to judge her on something that she had no control over. So I don't know, overall the whole Darrow situation really, really angered me, but I love the way that Aylin finishes their conversation. I just found the passage where he's being a dick. I do not recognize your right to rule. I do not recognize you as the rightful queen of Terrasen. Neither do the lords, Sloane, Ironwood, and Gunnar, who make up the remaining surviving majority of what was once your uncle's court. What a dick. And I know that he thinks that he's doing what's right for Terrasen. He's like, I have what's best in mind. I have such a pure heart. But no, he's really been corrupted. I honestly think he has been. And I love the way that Aylin kind of finishes their conversation. Well, it's basically when they're finally separating and she says, I promise you that no matter how far I go, no matter the cost, when you call for my aid, I will come. I promise you on my blood, on my family's name, that I will not turn my back on Terrasen as you have turned your back on me. I promise you, Darrow, that when the day comes and you crawl for my help, I will put my kingdom before my pride and not kill you for this. I think the true punishment will be seeing me on the throne for the rest of your miserable life. And that just shows how much Aelin has grown as a person. Like, she's already surpassed Darrow, who has his own pride getting in the way of what should be Terrasen's rightful heir. Like, she has grown past him. He's old, and she already is wiser than him, and that passage just shows it all. So I'm really glad that that's how she ended that. I did also actually want to talk about just Aelin growing in general, because I'm very annoyed about this whole okay, I hate that people pretend that when Aelin was Celaena, she was pretending to be Celaena. I hate that that's like a thought in this whole series, that they really think that she was just pretending. She was playing a part. She was playing at the wicked, cunning assassin who made jokes all the time. No, that was really a part of Aelin. I think that still is a part of Aelin. She's not allowed to show it as much anymore because she's supposed to rule a kingdom, and, you know, Celaena wouldn't really be fit to rule a kingdom, and so she can't show it as often. She still shows it in bursts when she's really happy. She's in a very dire situation right now, though, so she can't be that wicked, carefree assassin. But that's still her. That's still Aelin. She was never playing a part. I don't think she faked it at all when she was with Arobynn. I think that that was truly her personality. That was who she grew to be. And everyone kind of dismisses that. I think someone's talking to Dorian and they're saying, you knew Aelin when she was pretending to be Celaena. I think you can deal with anything. She wasn't pretending, and that's so annoying to me. I don't know if you guys agree, but like, I really don't think that Celaena was ever pretending to be Celaena. Celaena is Celaena. Celaena's Aelin. Aelin is Celaena. They're all the same freaking person, and she wasn't pretending to be anyone. She maybe went a little overboard, but I think that's just in her personality. She's a dramatic person. She loves dramatic entrances. She loves dramatic everything. Why wouldn't she be a dramatic assassin? She's still an assassin. I just don't get it. Okay, so the next theme that I really wanted to touch on is probably like one of the most exciting scenes in the book, and it's when Manon turns on her grandma. And I think this whole scene is really just interesting in general because I don't understand how... Okay, I was kind of annoyed in general that it even accumulated to get that far. I don't understand how Iskra Yellowlegs believed, or didn't believe, that Manon's story, because that seems definitely believable. The Yellowlegs, I'm gonna take this off, I'm so hot. The Yellowlegs coven is just awful, and of course they would try to take the glory for themselves, and Manon had clear orders not to kill Dorian, and she sees this witch about to kill Dorian. And granted, she definitely lied and kind of schemed her way out of that, and she shouldn't have killed the Yellowlegs witch, but it's believable. Her story is believable and absolutely, like, accurate. I think that that's definitely what could have happened. So I don't understand how Iskra just turns and believes them, and then I don't understand how all the matrons believe Yellowlegs. Like, I just don't get it. I don't think that that's how it should have happened. I think that that's kind of like a cop-out to make the whole scene happen, but whatever. I think that someone should have maybe seen Manon killing her and seen the situation, but like, with no witnesses, I just don't think that the blame should have been put on Manon. But also, that whole scene's really cool. I really think that the main reason that like they kind of use that to just, like, the matrons believe it is mostly because her grandmother has been wanting to get rid of Astrid for forever. And I don't think a second in command should be the one that dies when it's just some random girl in the other coven. I think that that should have, that isn't really accurate. Like, she really took advantage of the situation to get rid of Astrid because Astrid's been really influencing Manon and making Manon not just like this mindless zombie follower of her grandmother's. But yeah, so I really enjoyed how that whole scene went down. I loved Manon turning on her grandma. But okay, that's kind of one of the scenes where I was talking about how Sarah J Maas kind of forgets that she made these life-altering decisions already. Like, in the last book, Manon has that. In Heir of Fire, Manon has a realization like, oh my god, we are not all like just obedient. We have love. And then in the last book, she also has that same exact realization again where she's like, oh yeah, we're not obedient. We have to have love. Like, da 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 da. And then in this book, she has it again. And it was kind of really annoying to see it happen over and over again because it's like, okay, did you forget that Manon already had this realization, or is this supposed to be the realization? Because it doesn't feel that way. It felt like Sarah J. Maas had forgotten that this had already happened. But whatever, I still really enjoyed that scene. I still love that fight. I really think it's really cool that she has that moment where she was like, I never saw her train, and now I'm wondering if it's because if it ever came down to this, she wanted to be able to win. And that was cool, because I definitely think that her grandmother would think that. I also want to make a point on her grandma, because I really think that she is the most evil villain in this book. But we don't really understand the grandma's reasons, because, okay, yeah, if you want to be the queen of the wastes, I get it. But she's kind of going above and beyond wanting to be queen of the wastes. She let, like, witches be tested on. She let witchlings be tested on. She doesn't care. She wants it this way. She wants to give Erewhon anything he wants. And I don't think it's just for the waste. I think she's really just an awful, awful, awful person. Like, I just hate her. I hate her so much, and I cannot wait until Manon gets to, like, cut off her head in the last book, because I'm waiting for that scene. It's gonna happen, I swear. But, so after Manon getting, like, actually, messed up, I think it's so sweet that Abraxos went and he found Aelin. Like, he knew that he needed to take her somewhere safe, and he took her to Aelin's crew. And I think that in general is incredible. I think, like, Abraxos is my all-time favorite character in the whole book, because he's just such a pure little baby, and I don't know, he's perfect. And then I also love that he ends up finding the 13 in the end, because he makes me so happy, and he is just so pure, and he loves Manon, and, like, it's just, and without him, like, she would be dead thrice over. I don't even know. But yeah, back to the crew. Okay, so before they get on that ship, the whole scene where where Aelin's wearing the word key and it makes a gate for Deanna to take over her body was so weird to me, because I don't understand why Deanna's so mean. Like, I think I get it, because I know later on they kind of talk about, like, the gods and how they have no, oh, okay, well, okay, now I answered my own question, because I was about to say, like, I don't understand how Deanna, who used to be Mab, right? She used to be Mab? I don't know. I don't understand how she would do that to her own. But I remember a scene where they're talking about Mala, and how Mala told Elena that she wouldn't remember her at all, and she wouldn't feel anything for her at all when she turned into a god. So never mind. I kind of just explained my own question, and I kind of want to ignore it now. But yeah, that whole scene's really cool. It also shows just how smart Lissandra is in that as well. Like, not only just to create the sea dragon. Okay, actually I do want to touch on that, because yes, she's super smart, but you're telling me she couldn't make herself gills? Like, she had to keep coming to the surface to breathe, and I mean, maybe there's just limits to her power. Like, she's a mammal, so she can't make herself into a reptile, like, or she can't make herself into a fish, so she has to kind of breathe. But I'm sure that the original sea dragons could breathe underwater. It's like, I'm positive. Like, that just doesn't make sense for a sea dragon to not be able to breathe in the sea. So yeah, I don't know. I felt that part was a little weird, because if she can make her scales into spider silk, I guess that's organic by nature. But so, like, I just feel like she should be able to, make herself gills to breathe underwater. But I do think, like, everything else that she did was really cool, by breaking off the sea mass and making the sea wyvern, like, stab itself on it. She's just very smart, and I really love seeing all this intelligence that Lissandra had been having to hide her entire life. Okay, and I did want to touch on Elide and Lorcan in general, because as I was saying earlier, in my first read, I didn't like their relationship. I thought it was kind of like a cop-out, but in this one, I kind of love it. It's mostly Lorcan, actually. Like, I mean, I love Elide. She's actually so strong. She has a spine of steel. She's not scared to stand up for what she believes in, and she's not scared to stand up to Lorcan, and he's never had that before. But I really respect Lorcan in a really weird way. I think that of all the males in general, I think in Throne of Glass can be pretty respectful, but I think Lorcan is the most respectful. Like, he has a lot of respect for Elide. He has a lot of respect for her boundaries. He asks, like, very poignant questions towards her, and he has a lot of respect. Like, overall, like, he would never do anything without her permission. He would never make her feel uncomfortable. He always asks her before he does anything, like, and I know in the beginning it starts as him trying to manipulate her, but I don't think it was ever that. I think it was truly him just wanting to be good to her, and he never pulled any of the Fae male territory dumb stuff that all the other guys seem to do, at least not until he's around all the other Fae males, so, yeah, but I think that he's very respectful as a character. Like, I hated him in my first read, but like in this new read, I found him very kind. Like, I know that he's not supposed to be kind, and I'm not probably supposed to see him that way, but I think that at the end, he's actually very pure, he's very respectful, he has a lot of set notions of boundaries. And I just like them together in general. I love their banter. They have some of the best banter in the entire book. I think I marked like 1,000,000 times, just banter. They're really like small things, honestly. It's just like, they both just like say no so abruptly. Like, he's like, let me see what's in your pocket. No. And like, that's how I'm imagining it in my head too. It's just like, no. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I think their banter is hilarious. And, oh, okay, when he saves a lead, I actually want to talk about this scene in general, but like that scene where he tells her, he's like, I will always find you, I promise. And earlier in the book, he had said like, this girl couldn't possibly have known that the only thing that he believed, or like the only thing he bartered in, were promises. So that means a lot. Like, for him to promise, like, that is a big, big thing for him, and I really like that scene because of that. But also, there's a lot of similarities between, not like similarities in general, but there is a similarity between what Alid's uncle was gonna do to her to what happens to Aelin in the end. Like, they were both about to be put into iron coffins, and that's like a big thing in general, I think. But it's also, so Alid says it twice in this book. Or no, she said it twice in general. So she said it in the last book and she said it once in this book. But when people ask her, like, who are you or what are you? She goes, I am nothing. And that makes me nervous because Alid is a sweet little angel baby. But as we learned in this book, nameless is my price. And Selena, she used to say that, or like she said it a few times in previous books. I know she said it in Assassin's Blade where she's talking to Dorian and she goes, I am nothing, I am nameless, or something like that. And there are all these Easter eggs that Sarah J. Maas was dropping for us, and now I'm kind of nervous because that similarity alone, just her saying I'm nothing, had me thinking that she might come into play in the very end. But then she tries to get, like, she almost gets put into an iron coffin, just like Aelin actually gets put into an iron coffin in the end. And that is a whole other story. I think that that's like a big thing. I think that somehow Alid is going to be involved in this whole like nameless situation. I don't know how, because obviously her parents are her parents, like Callan, Marion, Locken, but I don't know. Like, I think she might be one of the people that also could potentially give over her power, but she doesn't have any power, which is kind of like confusing. I don't know. There's just too many similarities between their things to make me think that it's not for anything. And yeah, also, okay, I have a note on where I think Aelin is, because so we got excerpts recently. I don't know if you guys have read it, but we got excerpts of the Kingdom of Ash beginning of Rowan still looking for her, and we have one of Aelin where she is like in this cave. And they have no idea where she is. Like, they have no idea where she got vanished to when the ship vanishes in the end. But there's this scene. Okay, so it's just Lorcan, like, his internal monologue, but it says, he'd seen a kingdom, perhaps 300 years ago, that relied on barges to sail its goods from one end to another. Its name eluded him, lost to the catacombs of his memory. Lorcan wondered if it still existed, tucked away between two mountain ranges on the other side of the world. And this is just such a random thought for him to have. And from what we know about where Aelin is, she is in like a place that's just surrounded by water, and obviously this place was surrounded by water if they needed barges to go everywhere. So Lorcan is on this quest to go find them in the end, like he joins it, so I think that's gonna be the place. And like, I can't wait for that realization, because like, she wouldn't just throw that in. She would not just throw that in. My battery is gonna die. I need to like hurry through this. Oh, I wrote down here the scene where Aelin destroys the Ilkin, because I love that scene. I think it's so badass to show Aelin just how much power she has, and how all the Fae males, like, how they say, like, power is attracted to power, and I love, like, Lorcan's point of view on it, because he's like, it's too bad that Aelin had come so much later in life, or else she could have had all these Fae males. And he goes, or was it we that were the fools for not having waited for something better than Maeve? And I love that scene because Lorcan's really loyal to Maeve. And so to see him like pondering that, like, you know that like I just love overall like Aelin's crew, but how much they inspire like everyone else, because obviously we see Fenris in the end, just like his loyalty to Aelin. Like, I think he's definitely gonna help get her out of wherever she is. And it's just like they kind of always compare her to Maeve. They're like, she made a mockery of the bond that is supposed to be. She, like, Fae males want to help, like they want to serve, they want to protect, and she made a mockery of it. And so I love like seeing her court, and I love like the constant lines and reminders in it just being like the court that could change a world, because they're so powerful, they're so strong, they're so like, their friendship is just so strong too, and it's just, it makes me feel all the things. The ending where we finally get to see Aelin calling in all her favors killed me, because it was that scene where like you're remembering Aedion telling her, where is our army? And he's just like yelling at her, and he's so mad at her. Like, it's when the Ilgen are about to attack, and he like loses all his faith in her when he thinks he's about to die, which that's a whole other topic, but I was pretty mad about that too. But I mean, he got it in the end, because I mean, Aelin gets taken away, which gave her life for a lead. I love that. And you see everyone just start to come. The silent assassins appear over the dunes. Like, all these people came in to help Celaena, which is why I don't like them pretending that Celaena was something that Aelin was pretending to be, because that's just another part that's showing that Celaena was a true person too, and that's who Aelin is. And these are the people that Celaena got to be on her side. And yeah, just like with Ansel of Briarcliff, and she brings Casita, and like, I love seeing all these people that Celaena brought. It wasn't Aelin. Like, I mean, half of them were Aelin, because like then we see the Crown Prince of Wendelin come in, freaking finally, and I love the note that she gives him, just like, you Terrason remembers Evelyn Ashriver, do you? You didn't come 10 years ago, you better come now. And he comes, and I just thought that was really funny as well. And it's just like all these people are falling into line behind her. Rolf, the Pirate King, and these armies, these armadas, and it's like finally a fighting chance, and they're people that she brought. And I loved seeing that, because in the very beginning she says, oh god, I want to see that line, because it's just the most beautiful. To raise an army of assassins and thieves and exiles and commoners to finish what was started long, long ago. And like, that's exactly what she did. She raised an army of assassins and thieves and exiles with like those dirty words that he threw at her and her team, and that's what's gonna save them. And that's just, oh, me hurt. Also, okay, just Rowan's constant battle being like, I can give you nothing but my loyalty and my heart, and then all the white horns in the armada turn against everyone else. I love that, because you know that they're gonna join the army now too, and it's just like, he did have more to give her, and I think that he's finally gonna be able to take up his title maybe as prince. I'm not sure. I have no idea how that's gonna work, but I feel like that's gonna maybe be a thing, especially if Maeve gets out of the picture in the next book, which I feel like she will, because I hate her. And yeah, that was kind of it. I do also like Manon finally stepping up and realizing that she's gonna be a Crocian queen. I didn't really touch on that, but overall I love that she's Crocian. I think that that was the most perfect arc of her story. I love that she's gonna be what brings everyone back. I love that her and Celaena are opposite sides of the same coin, because Manon is silver, Celaena's gold, and like, they are queens that were promised. Like, Manon is like witch from both sides, and Celaena is half fae, half human, and like, that was really cool to see. Also, like, that they combined, they like are most of the races in their world. So I have so many feelings. I still have a lot of feelings. I don't really know if I can get any of them out, but my camera's gonna die, and I just don't want to be like closed on. So yeah, please let me know what your favorite scenes were in the book. Let me know if you think I missed anything. I'd love to talk with you about it down below. These are my favorite kinds of videos to talk with you guys. I think that we have such amazing, amazing discussions. Oh, right before I finish, how could I forget? So in one of my last videos, one of you guys mentioned that there is a scene where, in the scene where Elena uses the lock, which is, that's a whole other story. I cannot believe that Brandon wouldn't tell her what the lock was for her not to use it at a dumb time. And why did he wait so long to use it? Like, he should have used it way earlier. The whole place was burning down. Like, you're telling me that it was after everyone died that he was gonna use it? That's ridiculous. But when she uses the lock on the wrong thing, and the gods are telling her what she's gonna have to do and like what was promised and everything. And when she's leaving, Gavin is holding Damaris, and they mention like someone was lying, like all the lies that he had sensed and the things that he had unraveled. And I was kind of thrown off because in my comments, one of you guys were saying that you think that the gods were lying. And I kind of agree, because while it could mean that he sensed the half-truths in what Elena told him about what was going to be needed of him, I think it also could have to do with the gods. I think the gods either might be lying about if they're actually going to tear apart everyone, if they're going to take him with him, if that's the exact price that needs to be paid, if only one person can pay the price. I do agree that that's definitely a plot point to like think and look on, because she wouldn't just drop that hint of him sensing half-truths in Damaris and just let it go. So thank you also. But yeah, please discuss with me down below this book. I had such a great time taking notes on it and reading it, and I can't wait. Tower of Dawn is next, and then Kingdom of Ash. I've been waiting so long for this, and I'm just so happy that it's finally here. But yeah, okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I make videos Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays? Who am I? No, I make videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays most of the time, and I'm gonna see you in my next one. Bye!